This is my favorite story. There's this eagle, and she builds her nest at the top of the tallest tree on a farm. And one day, one of her eggs rolls out of the nest, rolls into the chicken coop down below, and nobody notices. The mother hen sits on all her eggs until they hatch, and there's this baby eagle in the mix, but nobody notices, and this baby eagle is quickly accepted into his new chicken family. The mother hen is teaching all of her little chicks how to be a good little chicken, how to scratch at the dirt, how to get along in the chicken coop, and the eagle is growing up to be a good little chicken. One day, he's in the barnyard with his family, and he's scratching at the dirt, minding his own business, but something catches his eye. It's this eagle, and he's just never seen a bird look so majestic. And he says, "Mom, I want to do that." And she says, "Junior, don't be ridiculous. You can't fly that high. Your wings aren't made for that. You're a chicken." And he says, oh, and he feels very flustered and embarrassed. And "Sorry, Mom, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to want that." And he goes back to scratching at the dirt, feeling very embarrassed. But every few days, that eagle flies by. And every few days, this eagle chicken is distracted. And he can't get it out of his head. About a week goes by, he finds himself alone in the barnyard. Looks around, nobody's there, and he says, "Well, maybe I could fly. Maybe not, but only one way to find out." And he spreads his wings and he flies across the barnyard, and he can't believe it. He's like, "Wait, I'm a chicken who can fly. This is like insanity." He doesn't tell anybody, maybe it's a fluke. Waits another week, looks around, nobody there, and he says, "I bet I can fly to the top of that barn. Maybe not, but only one way to find out." And he spreads his wings and he flies to the top of the barn, and he's exhilarated. This is like his life's dream come true. And he wants to high five someone, but there's nobody up there until something catches his eye. It's the eagle. And the eagle circles once, and he circles twice, and he looks down at this eagle chicken on the roof of the barn like, "New, you coming or not?" And the eagle chicken has to make a decision. Will he go back to what's familiar, or will he fly off into the unknown? So we all know how we want the story to end, but let's follow that other version we don't want so much for a second. In this other version, the eagle chicken is like a little neurotic. And he stands up there saying, "Well, what if my mother's right? What if I fall to my death? And what if I fail? And what if the other eagles don't like me? And what if? Until he turns to the eagle and says, "No thanks, funny story. I'm actually a chicken." And he goes back to the familiar, and he lives out his days as a chicken, scratching dirt and blaming his mother. The end. We can all sort of recognize ourselves in that a little bit. We're presented with a new opportunity, whether it's a job or a raise or a new relationship or something that we want, but it's pushing us out of our comfort zone, and we feel afraid. And that's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's a scary moment. There's a verse in the Torah, in the book of Proverbs, "Ashrei Adam mefached tamid." Happy is the person who's always afraid, which is weird as a life goal. Who wants to be always afraid? It certainly doesn't sound very happy. Why would that be a verse in the Torah? So what Jewish wisdom is pointing us towards is there's a certain fear that just means you're living life like you have skin in the game. You're living life like the person who went for it. I think that's why those golden buzzer YouTube moments get millions of hits, because each of us wants to see some chicken think he's an eagle and make it to the top of the barn. That's what that verse means. Ashrei Adam mefached tamid. Happy is the person who's always afraid. Lucky you to live a life that makes you just a little bit afraid. Brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. Brave means you are afraid. You just did it anyway. Right now, we're between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and in these first 10 days of the year, Jewish wisdom teaches us that we're being cast in our role for the upcoming year. But the casting director is not deciding our role based on who we were last year. He's deciding our role based on who do we want to be this year, because you could want anything. You're not limited by your past. You're limited by your imagination. And that's one of the reasons why the holiday is called Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. See, it could have been called Tchilat Hashanah, the beginning of the year, or Shana Chadashah, a new year, but it's not. It's called Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, because Hakol Barosh, it's all in your head. You're not limited by your past. You're limited by your imagination. Who do you want to be? May this be the year that we all go for it. May this be the year that we find our eagle and we go for it. Shana Tova, everybody.